Hey everyone, it's Joe. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a One Book July mid-month review. And this is just a video to check in with everyone with how their One Book July is going, as well as to share my experience so far. And there's something I kind of have to get off my chest, and I basically cheated already. I ended up using my bullet journal on July 6th. I remember this because this was the first Monday of the month, and I was actually back to work and back to school. So I habitually grabbed my work bullet journal because I use it for teaching and stuff. And I was just using it. I was using it for like 3 days and also using my One Book July. And it never occurred to me that, wait, we are in the midst of One Book July. Why am I using my bullet journal? So that was a lot of like getting used to. But I think I eventually weaned myself off of the bullet journal and replace it with a totally not great system, but I'll talk about that later. But basically, I'm still using the same system minus the bullet journal, so I'm still using one book. But as you can see, the one thing that I wanted to talk about was I've been using a lot of post-its for things, and I don't know where this is coming from. I've been using post-its for planning, and this is something that I never used to do. Maybe like before I got into planning in like 2013, I was probably using post-its and like notebooks to like keep my tasks somewhere. But basically everything is still the same, but I've been using a lot of post-its. I've been planning in them, and then once I'm done with that day, I've been tossing it out, and I'm not that happy with it because I don't know, I should be planning in the actual bullet journal insert or like this catch-all journal insert. And I think you saw in the clips earlier, but I'm still going strong with the gratitude journal. I think this is the most consistent I've been in a gratitude journal ever, which is nice because I wake up in the morning, I grab my coffee, and my water. I don't know, I'm telling you my whole morning routine, but basically I grab my coffee and then I write in my journal. So I'll write like my little gratitude statement, and then I'll work on some journaling spreads. But as you can see, I'm like doing pretty much daily journaling, which I haven't done in a while. I've been pretty close to daily journaling. Like I'll miss like a few days here and there, but for One Book July, I've been really adamant about journaling every day, and maybe that's because of the craft notebook. I feel so reinvigorated with journaling in this. I don't know. There's just something about the craft paper and like the white. I'm so in love with it. But yeah, as you can see, my notebook is kind of running out of pages, and I've been making like half-page spreads for my daily journal entries, which is fine because I actually really like that format because some days I'm not really into the whole illustration, painting situation, and I just want to do some quick collaging and get my words down. I usually do a half spread, but I basically only have 14 pages left in my spread. So I was filming these clips on July 12th, and that wasn't even halfway through the month yet, and I only had 14 pages left in this insert. So I knew that I had to add more pages into this existing insert to make it through the month because I was using this for a whole bunch of stuff. I was using it for planning, for journaling, for bullet journaling, and I wanted to sketch in this notebook too. So I think adding pages was the only way to go because I didn't want to add another insert to this notebook because I wanted everything to kind of be in one insert, and it would be really cool to look back on my One Book July experience and just open this notebook and see my planning, my journaling, and whatnot in one insert. So that's the reason why I decided to add more pages to an existing notebook, and I thought that adding 4 pages would be enough, which would result in 8 pages when I end up folding these papers, as you can see on screen. So I chose some black paper, some regular old cardstock, some vellum, and this cool gardening book paper that I had, and I cut it slightly smaller than my existing notebook because I didn't want to add too much bulk and overhang to the notebook. And I think this was a good plan because it's enough pages to get me through the month, but also a nice challenge to kind of fill up because I know I won't be journaling every single day. I know I'm going to miss a few days here and there, and it might be nice to kind of push myself to fill up this notebook. I also rounded the edges because that was the look that was already established in the existing notebook. and I added it smack dab in the middle of my insert because I was going to use saddle stitch bookbinding techniques to adhere this signature onto the existing notebook. And I know nothing about bookbinding. I just know about saddle stitch bookbinding, and even that's like super basic. So please take what I'm doing as a grain of salt because I have no idea what I'm doing. I do have a very cool bookbinding kit that I have, and I used an awl to add 5 holes to my notebook, and I pierced it all the way through the existing notebook as well as the 4 pages that I'm adding. And then I'm just using embroidery floss instead of waxed thread because I thought that this like project wasn't too like intense and I didn't need like super heavy duty thread. So I just used like thicker embroidery floss. And when I've made inserts in the past, I just used embroidery floss, and it works fine. I think it's actually great because you can add like cool colors, and I just chose a pretty like low-key gray because I thought it would match the current aesthetic of this notebook. Every spread so far has been pretty like muted, except for my journal with me a few a few weeks ago, where I was using like blues and yellows and reds, but I've quickly returned to a more muted style, and that's not a problem. I think it's fun to play around with style and stuff, but I've been really liking the whole like minimal like brown, white, and black. So I've been playing around with that, and I was so excited that the insert actually kind of looked cool that I decided to just start journaling after I got those pages added. And it looks pretty seamless, I must say. Like, when I flip through this notebook, it clearly looks like I've added pages because the pages aren't craft paper. But in terms of like execution, I'm pretty proud of myself because it looks pretty good, I must say. And as you can see, this is just like a very short journaling session. I'm still like playing around with those colors that I like. And I think my camera died halfway through. That's why I didn't end up putting this as a dedicated journal with me. And as you can see, my style for journaling and planning in this insert has been kind of all over the place, but I really like that. I like how there's like planning interwoven with like a journal entry with some collage elements, and I'm trying to incorporate more like drawings and illustrations because I've been drawing a lot more on Procreate and on my iPad, and I just realized that in terms of like traditional media, like I kind of don't know how to draw with like a regular like pencil and paper, so that's alarming. So I'm kind of like trying to incorporate more sketching with like traditional mediums again. I don't know, I'm kind of really into like exploring art and like practicing. It's been really cool. I think this happens every summer though because I get really inspired again. But as you can see, this is like my new and improved notebook. I'm really excited, and I also want to tackle on more planning in this insert without using post-its because it seems like such a waste just getting rid of post-its and throwing away all of those plans. It would be cool to look back on my planning, so I think I'm going to incorporate more explicit planning in my notebook and yeah, just be more like free and loose with this insert because it's kind of fun. But in terms of work planning, I am not going to be using this as my work planner because I just realized that for the month of July and with summer school, I've been doing a lot of stuff online, so I've kept my planning on my online calendar, which is kind of boring and not as fun as planning on a notebook, but I am liking it, and I think I'm feeling fulfilled with my planning and journaling in this insert. So like I don't see the point of like disrupting what's like already good and established by adding like my work planning into this journal. So, and it's also nice to keep it separate too. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little update. Please let me know how your One Book July is going, and if you also cheated and used like another notebook or planner in the earlier days or weeks of like the month of July, please let me know because I don't want to be the only one who cheated. But this is super fun. I am enjoying this challenge. Yep, let me know how your challenge is going, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.